I thought it might be worth just giving a quick overview of all the support that's on offer from Buckinghamshire Business First, for those of you who may not be aware. So as well as the support on offer today with skills and recruitment, we also offer business advice and mentoring. We have a team of business advisors who can offer one-to-one support and mentors whose experience can help your business succeed. We offer an extensive events program, both in person and online. So we have networking and events to improve your skills and raise your profile. And we also offer a bi-monthly newsletter just to keep you up to date with everything that's going on, because there's a whole lot of support and a whole lot of things going on. So we send that out bi-monthly, and also have business hubs which you can use. So we have meeting rooms and hub space in Buckingham, Great Missenden, Silverstone, Westcott and Chesham, where you can book space and also hot desk. So if you can just move on to the next slide, Megan. Another thing that's worth pointing out is the business directory that we have. So we have over 14,000 members. So as a business, you can update your profile onto our business directory, and that is your shop window to our community of 14,000 businesses. And you can make it look as lovely as you want, and it might also be a good way to promote yourself to potential new recruits, which I think is something Mary might cover later on. So it's a great way to showcase your business. And then if you move on once more, we also offer upgraded membership packages which just let you do more. So by upgrading, you can add your logo, you can add testimonials, you can host your own events and advertise your own events. So there's a whole range of things you can do with an upgraded membership. So that's like a whistle-stop tour, but I'll post my email address in the chat. And if any of the things that I just touched on very briefly sound interesting to you, just drop me a line and we'll catch up later. But I think I'll just hand over to Mary so she can get on with the key elements of the event.
It's Paula. I'm just taking control of the slides, I think, if it's going to work. We seem to be on a freeze today. Megan, there we go. Right. I think we've already gone, it's gone on one slide too many, I think. No, okay, right, so what's key to me, and I'm sure all of you will share, is the culture of your business. When you're looking to recruit, as we know, there are more vacancies than there are people looking to fill them. And for the first time ever, job seekers are being particularly fussy about where they will or won't accept a role. And so I just wanted to touch on, in the first opening slide, is how do you value your employees? This is freezing. There we go. You know, what working conditions do you offer them? Career goals within that. Some of you touched on that the levels at which you wanted to employ people. How's the company managed? HR processes, induction, ongoing support. What's your staff retention like? And is there a skills gap that needs addressing in the existing team before you go out to the market? So when you're looking at, you know, how do you value your employees, that does cover things like, what are the values of your company? I mean, most people would sort of go, yes, we know them, but do all your employees know them? Do they know that, you know, the core values might be sort of integrity, honesty, fairness, accountability? Sometimes when you have a small business that you've grown from sort of 2 or 3 people, that it may be obvious to you, but it might not be necessarily obvious to the people that you're beginning to employ. So almost right from the start, before you do anything, have it very clear in your head what your company is about. What does it do? Is it really, really clear? What do you do? What's your vision? Do you know where you actually would like to take the business in 1, 2 or 5 years, so that, the passion that you feel about the business is apparent to anybody that you end up talking to that might come and work for you, that you're absolutely invested in that person, that you almost can't imagine why they wouldn't want to come and work for you, because you are so passionate that you know what your business is doing, you know what the values are, and you know what, well, the mission, vision and values is absolutely key, and that you live by them, as that anybody in your business can be, it's absolutely transparent, that there's a theme of integrity, that there's value your customers, that customer service is good. And I'm absolutely not suggesting that any of you that are on the call today don't have that, but it's worth having a really dig deep look in the mirror and think, if I was applying for a job at this company, would I want to come? You know, is it the most amazing company that I would want to come and work at? Are there things that I could do that just share my passion for my business or the business I work for, with people who are coming in? And obviously that goes into working conditions as well. We can touch on it later, but you know, I was doing a bit of research around this, and there are some businesses that really make reception a really nice place to work, that they've got plants, they've got a comfy seat, that it's not beige grey. And again, I'm not suggesting that you go out and completely redecorate your offices to suit your employees, but when employees are being potential employees are being particularly fussy about what job they will take, and if they've got a choice of your business or another one, there are so many little things that you can do now that just give you the edge over other employers. Do you have career goals for your staff? Is it something that they come in and you expect that they might stay 6 months or a year or 18 months? Have you thought about how you'd like to keep them in the company? Have you thought about how the company's managed? You know, are your HR processes clear? Is induction clear? Is ongoing support clear? You know, if anybody's coming in, I mean, I'm very happy to share, when I joined BBF 6 months ago and hadn't been into a new post for some time, I just felt like a rabbit in the headlights. And it wasn't that it was there, that didn't do anything wrong, but actually I probably needed treating like a 5-year-old that didn't know anything, because it was all so new. And there is evidence that, you know, again, if you can get somebody into the job, they may well leave in the first sort of, you know, 3 months or 6 months, because they don't understand your processes, they don't understand the induction, they didn't feel supported in that first period of time, so that they need bringing into your family, and then you've hopefully got a better chance of keeping them on, and you're not going to be going through this process again in 3 to 6 months. And obviously the key one is there a skills gap that's existing in your existing team? Because actually somebody you've already got is probably already loyal, they understand how you work, they've stayed with you for a long time. Are you able to tap into their undeveloped skills and actually use them to fill the existing vacancy as part of their career development? Next slide, please, Megan. There we go. Wanted to look at, you know, what's your recurrent recruiting strategy? Do you have a budget? Is it something you could, if you don't have a budget, increase the budget? Are you very clear about the job specification? We'll touch on that a little bit more as we go forward. Timescales. When you think about, oh gosh, I need somebody, a lot of research around recruiting managers actually recruit too quickly. So actually, if they can get somebody, they may end up recruiting the wrong person, because they think, oh gosh, you know, just got to take somebody. And then they don't get the right fit, that person leaves, you're going through the whole process again. And one of the key things, if you can do it, if you don't do it, do you do exit interviews for employees that are leaving, whether it's 1 month, 3 months, 3 years, or anything? Do you actually do an exit interview, or do you get somebody to do one? where you can look at that interview, and there may be some very positive reasons why people have left, but there may be things that you then have to think, oh, okay, we got that wrong. We need to review that process. We need to look at how we did or didn't completely value that person, and use the evidence of the exit interview to help you in your recruitment strategy going forward. Next slide, please, Megan. So that leads me on to, do you have a marketing department? Potentially, if you're a very small business, you don't. So could you use an external marketing agency to help you develop some great messages about your company? Started on at the beginning. For me, if I'm going to go out to work every day, I really want to go to somewhere that's going to set me on fire, it's going to be a buzz. But if there's no messages about the company, it just makes it harder to belong to that family. So again, it's a case of thinking about your company, what you're looking to achieve, and then getting the marketing department or the marketing agency or yourself, if you're comfortable to do it, to share that job offer on social media, that people look and think, wow, I really like the sound of that company. And it's a bit like when I suppose there is a corollary with going into Sainsbury's. You've got the value basics and you've got the one with the pretty packaging. If it's on the same price, you will probably get drawn into the one that's marketed to you better, rather than the one that's probably not looking so attractive. So there's a whole piece around how you're marketing your vacancies, and actually trying to be a bit more original in the text that you use. If we could have the next slide, please, Megan. Oh, we've had a freeze. So I'm absolutely, spent a lot of time last year on LinkedIn courses, working out how to share the best practice of the company I was working for. Show screenshots, live shots of your company's activity, highlight the perks of working for them. Again, some people will, some people won't. Try and get your existing employees to share company activity. I didn't this morning before I came on the call look at all the businesses that you work for and try and see what you're actually already doing on social media. You might be all over it, but I certainly, if I thought about a couple of you, I don't think I've seen much by way of social media, and it is certainly where the younger generation are. Again, listening to a piece on recruitment earlier this week, and I mean, they really go via Instagram and Facebook. And for us older ones that are almost used to handwritten letters and email, getting it onto the newer platforms, newer social media platforms, definitely, share content that shows you are a forward-thinking employer, that you get where your future employees are coming from. Next slide, please, Megan. So that would take us on to when you're prepping to your job descriptions. Really dig deep into what you're asking a future employee to do. I'm still fascinated by the number of I still get job alerts on LinkedIn, and sometimes I read them and I look at the job title and I think, okay, and I haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Keep it simple. What do you want the person to do? Keep it short. People's time attention is fairly short. If they're looking for jobs or you're trying to attack their attention, put yourself in the shoes of prospective candidates. Is it obvious what you want them to do, that they can grasp it in the first glancing of the ad? What do you want them to do? And state the salary. That comes up time and time again in the research. If you're not prepared to state the salary, I think I would say, why would anybody want to come and work for you? You can craft your job description in a way that if you're looking to recruit at different levels, but if you just don't put it in there, I know that a lot of people now just scroll straight past, because they think, well, I need to know, because I know I've got bills to pay, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. and if my potential future employer can't tell me what they think they're going to pay me, well, I'll go and find one that does. So I am a great advocate of stating the salary. Highlight the work-life balance. I mean, we absolutely know, and I know it's hard when you need somebody full-time and doing shifts, but again, try and dig deep. How much flexibility can you offer? There's lots of evidence now that people are just not interested in the 8-hour day, either 9 to 5 or the traditional week. Think about what good looks like, yes, from your perspective, but bearing in mind that, as I've sort of emphasized a couple of times, is that it's the future employee that is deciding whether or not you're a good match for them. How flexible can you be that still gets your work done but attracts a good candidate? Have a think about what opportunities you've got for training and upskilling and development, and that you will actually commit on it, because sometimes, and it's absolutely true, people have got the right attitude but they don't have the skills, and if they've got the right attitude, I'm sure you'd agree that counts for a hell of a lot more than somebody who can do the job but's got an awful attitude and can actually rock the foundations of your company or their department, because they just don't fit. But give somebody with an amazing attitude, who's got a can-do, who's got a, be part of the solution attitude, may well be your best bet, rather than, as I say, somebody who's, says, well, I've always done it this way and no, I'm not willing to change. And being super sensitive that somebody might not know your software, your systems, and be very nervous about asking it. You may not agree, but I'd suggest that if you can spend time training somebody, then that's far better than them sort of walking away going, well, they wouldn't train me and I couldn't do the job and it was miserable and I hated going there. So sometimes it's digging into how you can upskill rather than trying to find somebody that's got everything that you want, and may not be the right mold for your team. And obviously in Bucks Business First, in the Skills Hub, we're very passionate about apprentices, and they don't have to be 16, 17-year-olds. Anybody can be apprentice. And it absolutely means that, again, this touches on where I talked about attitude, train somebody in the ways of your company. Actually take them from raw material and mold them into the ways of your company through an apprentice. And I'm very happy to, if anybody wants to sort of get more information about how to do apprentices and apprenticeships, please ask, and we're very, very happy to help you on that. Next slide, please, Meg. Where are you posting? Really key. I've touched on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, the main ones. There's loads of job boards around. Again, some of you may have used them. Indeed, Monster, CV Library. Did a little bit of research around that for you. The CV Library has 12,000 employers, and 220,000 jobs in it, which is massive. But they are a good place to get your jobs out there, job vacancies out there for people that are looking. Indeed is probably the better one if you need to scale quickly, whereas LinkedIn is better probably for more senior posts. Your own website. Have you got a website? Have you got a section do you keep your website up to date, so that if somebody logs onto it and says, oh, I wonder what that company is doing, that they can see vacancies, that again, they can get the sense that if they got in contact you with a CV, perhaps with a flexible offer, that you're willing to talk to us, that you're willing to talk to them about their career aspirations and what they're trying to do, or are you absolutely rigid in what you're recruiting? But again, your website is the window to your company, so try and make sure it's up to date and that it's got the opportunities on there that you're looking to fill. Virtual recruiting fairs, again, a good way to, if it's appropriate for your business, you can register as an employer. Each one gives specific guidance on how to participate in in a virtual fair, you can get access to a fair number of candidates. They're sometimes sector specific. It really is a case of doing some Google search and just seeing if there's one that might meet your requirements of what you're trying to the position you're trying to fill. But again, they offer flexibility. They allow candidates to upload their CV there and then. It can save you money if money is an issue. It can save you time. You can also, do a virtual sort of chat with a potential candidate online. It very much depends on how that virtual recruiting fair is set up. Obviously, I've just specifically put in charity job because it's just one of the websites that, again, lists in a different way. If we did have charities on there, are you on the call? Are you listing your vacancies on charity job? Reddit is a great website for employers to share best and worst experiences of how you've gone about recruiting. You can link up with other employers and see what headaches they've been having and get some. It's a good online forum for sharing experience on recruitment. And then Find a Job, which is where I'm going to hand over to Gemma Evangelista from the Department of Work and Pensions, who's got some great tips on using the Jobcentre and giving a much more positive slant than I'm sure I certainly had until very recently about the great work they're doing. So Gemma, over to you.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully we are all good. 1 second. Okay. Can we see that? Meet the Buckinghamshire EA team. Brilliant. Okay. So what I wanted to share with you is that I am the EA manager, so the Employment Advisor Manager for Buckinghamshire. So we work with the job centres, or I work in the job centres, High Wycombe, Aylesbury, Chesham and Milton Keynes. And here we'll just give you just an overview. These are the team that I'm working with. And basically, you can reach out to us directly. Apologies, I've gone forward a bit quickly. You can reach out to us directly, and I will share those slides with the email addresses of the support that we can give you within the Job Centre. Now, as I mentioned, I have been on the other side. I've worked with the Department of Work and Pensions and the Civil Service for the last 2 years. But having had a background in the wonderful hospitality, leisure and tourism for the last 20 years, I am aware of the difficulty. Would I have used a job centre? No. Would I have thought about using the job centre customers? No. But boy, has my mind changed. When we're dealing with customers on universal credit, they're not all unemployed. Some of them are the lower earners, and also people on job seekers allowance. We have a lot more skilled people, but we have a lot of challenges in terms of expectations of employers and vice versa, how we improve the skill set of our customers. So as a department, our 3 main priority cohorts, all cohorts looking for work, are a priority, but we are challenged at the moment because we've got a number of people within our maturer workers, 50 plus, those that are on a health journey, and also improving people's skill set that are in work. They could still be on universal credit, in work, that need to upskill to maintain their job or improve their skills. So we talked about training. We can support with aspects of that as well. And as a business, candidates to do that. So we're seeking to support people with any work, better work and continued work. But also very strongly, we work with the 18 to 24 cohort. The creative sector, which is a booming sector that does tie into other roles and skill sets that will support all employers across our district, ex-offenders and Ukrainians. But we have a high volume of candidates that are looking for work and keen to work, but it's how obviously employers are looking to engage or expectations of their candidates. Mary alluded to this, and this is where we're finding a lot of challenges. So there are labour market shortages and there are skill shortages in our markets. So unusually, some of you may have heard these stats, but there are currently 1.25 million people unemployed. And that is how many vacancies are out there on the market. So it'd be great to get every single person unemployed into a vacancy, but we know that that's not as straightforward. And it is an employees market, unfortunately. Probably the worst thing you want to hear as an employer. But again, some of the things that Mary's alluded to, our employees are looking for, you know, the most positive outcome from an employer. And the reason also for a big decline in unemployed, or those that are specifically looking to get into work, is nearly 500,000 have come off the sort of labour market journey because they are on a health journey, or more of our mature workers are looking for earlier retirement or possibly volunteering work, or quite possibly thinking that there is a stereotype behind getting employed over the age of 50. Absolutely not. We know everybody advocates for that, but delivering that support is key. So the big thing is what we can do to support you as employers. So listening to every single one of you, I can assure you we can support you within the Jobcentre. I have put a link here, which I'm sure you're all aware of, the gov.co.uk website. It is very complicated, a lot of information. But here is a key link, which I will share with you, that gives you an overview of what we can do to support you. So we have a number of recruitment services that our team can support you with. We can give you the advice that also our colleagues on the call here as well are giving you, but targeted to your business directly. We can set up work trials and put candidates forward to work with you. We can support on apprenticeship schemes and other work experience trials. And one of the biggest things that we can support with is something called a sector-based work academy programme. And I'll give a little bit more of an overview of that shortly. Anybody with a health or disability, we have so many people that are on a health journey that have the most amazing experience and skill set. But as employers, I think we fear and are concerned how people on a health journey would fit into a business. So there will be some great links that will support you on understanding and give you support with what we call access to work, that will help you support customers that are interested in your vacancies on the health journey. And like it was just mentioned there, we do share with our customers on both Universal Credit and Job Seekers Allowance. There are hundreds of recruitment sites, as we've just alluded to again, but we do share with our customers to review on Find a Job. And the reason for this is we have another great website where we can define exact sort of expectations of people in certain sectors of what you as employers are looking for. And that will then also link them into a Find a Job service for any of your job vacancies. But I think the key thing that I would really, really like to share with you is some of you may or may not be aware that at the Jobcentre we can have you on site and you can engage with customers to recruit into your vacancies. So for example, today I'm sat in High Wycombe. We have 27 employers currently on site, from the Army, the Navy, from Next to charity organisations to funeral directors. We've been using co-op funeral directors, all here today interviewing candidates, possibly their first stage interview. They may then bring them to site for second, but we will have nearly 300 customers walk through the door today. And quite often at the end of these events, we see nearly 20 to 30% offered jobs or moving into second interviews. So I urge you, with the time and how busy you are as employers, to engage with us in a job centre. We can arrange a diary where maybe you come into the job centre just for 3 hours and you can interview interested candidates. So they were not applying directly through websites or anything like that. It could be that first stage interview. We offer that option for you to come in any day of the week, or we do encourage people to come maybe on a Thursday when there are multiple employers, or when we host bigger events. And I can assure you then, sifting through those sort of candidates then into a second stage, or do you know what, I'm quite interested in you, but come back to me with X, Y, and Z, might actually give you some time away from all the hundreds of applicants you might be getting online or not, but targeting correct customers. We work with yourselves if you are struggling with skills gaps, and same working with Skill Up Bucks and our stakeholders to support with any additional courses to skill our workforce to enable them to gain the skills to support you. If you are unable to come into the job centre, then absolutely we can arrange diaries for those customers to maybe come and see you at your offices. So we definitely encourage employers to come into the job centre because we have a number of people coming through each day for appointments, but the stigma behind the type of people that are on, job seekers or universal credit can often outweigh the thought of working with us. So currently, I know already this morning they've seen 3 lawyers that have been made redundant. We are aware that people, can live to their means. They are on universal credit and now seeking opportunities. So we are supporting those customers right here, right now. Like mentioned, we can organise funding for skill shortfalls in your business. So if you have a number of vacancies and you really do find yourself with a skills shortfall, we could potentially look at offering funding and training to support those skill shortfalls. But what I stress is that as quick as this could be today, reach out to myself and my team on this email address. We can speak to you one-to-one, or if you'd like to come in and see us, absolutely, we will make arrangements for you to come in, and it can move very, very quickly. So just in regards to the SWAP, Sector-Based Work Academy programs, so the government link for recruiters that I just shared with you, this will be on there. But a basic approach to this is hospitality. I'm going to use hospitality because it is one of the higher number of vacancies at the moment and the expectations behind skills. What we can do is we can work with you as an employer and work with a training provider. We work with Skill Up Bucks and numerous training organisations to put on a course that will then help them understand your business and their expectations of your business, employability skills, and the sort of knowledge that they would need to get into your business. All we would ask from you as an employer is that you maybe take an hour out of your day to engage in that training session with the provider, maybe to sell your business. And then to those people that have attended, offer a guaranteed interview. Now, we know that the success rate of people that have attended these programs is usually about 75% of people, and they can run for 2-day programs or they can run for a week. But 75% of our customers that go through this SWAP program with an employer do then end up being taken on full time. So the time frame of what may be required for you from a recruitment side could be substantially reduced. So there is an eligibility criteria. Probably don't need to go into the full detail, but for any customers, they need to be over the age of 19. They need to be earning less than, it's usually around about 18,000, and are full UK resident. But that's more from our side, but that then means we can identify the right customers to put forward to training into your business. So there are a number of other things that we do to help our customers and customers that are seeking employment to get into work into your organisation. Now, there are things like skills boot camps. Now, if there is a more rigid approach to some skills training, they may need longer training. So this is really more about the customer as opposed to directly yourselves as an employer. But where we do have skills shortfalls, so for example, in accounting, finance, IT, we will encourage people to be fully funded training so we can build the skills workforce to support you in your businesses. If a customer that is looking for a job requires a specific qualification to be able to then gain employment within an organisation, we can look to fund that for them, for you then to take them on if it is a barrier for them getting it into work. We work with something called low value provision, which again will support you as employers. If you have a shortfall of skilled candidates and you need, a number of people, we will support with funding that training with the right number of customers. So A big one recently is obviously HGV drivers. So at High Wycombe, we supported a company with 10 customers and paid for them all to go through their HGV license so that the employer could take them all on. We support with childcare costs. So we know that obviously people that are looking for shorter hours, single parents, or just different earner parents, childcare costs. Once they can gain employment, we will support with childcare costs. So we know that working hours is important to people, but we can support with childcare costs that then will encourage those claimants to work in your organisation. So we have another link here that I will share with you, which breaks down all the sectors and the support that we can give to customers to get them into your business. So there's a lot of opportunity for funding, and it breaks down by all site sectors as to apprenticeships that are available and those sort of links. So I urge you to take a moment just to maybe review these key links that I will send through after, because I think you'll find them very insightful, and we can do a lot more positively to support you. And just very quickly, this is where we sit, and this is quite often where you're finding challenges within possibly some of your areas, and that's where reaching out to us is really important. As of the 7th of November, these were the highest number of vacancies per sector in our Bucks area. I haven't got Milton Keynes on here, but focusing more on the closer area with the people on the call. So top 5 sectors: catering, we know is big in Aylesbury, construction and trade, education, teaching, engineering, retail, wholesale, transport and logistics. So if you sit within those sectors, you are obviously competing with a high number of people. So this just gives you a little overview to understand these are the highest number of sectors recruiting. Now, with the exception of engineering, and quite often it comes down to education, we do very well in the Bucks area. Engineering and the higher skill set is where we are working with our funding providers to get more people trained into those sectors. But every sector that's operating here, we can support with swaps within your business to help you get people into employment. But I encourage you, please, to reach out to us because we really can help your business. We want to retain our customers in Bucks, and we want to make sure that they are working with yourselves.
Thank you, Gemma. Thank you very much. So yes, brilliant oversight. Thank you. So we can next. Oh, where have we gone, Megan?
Oh, do you want me to?
There we go. Oh, hang on. There we go. So I just wanted to add in something that when Gemma was talking about that, there is huge ageism in the workplace. It is National Older Workers Week this week. 65% of our over 50s believe that age is against them. 30% of those retired felt they had to retire rather than necessarily wanting to retire. And 82%, this is from a company called 55 Straight Life Redefined, 82% said they'd never been contacted by a recruiter. So just bearing in mind that the over 50s and with an ageing population in the UK, well, it's just wanted to flag that the over 50s are a good option to think about. So this is just talking a little bit about the application process. Make it mobile friendly. Use chatbots and artificial intelligence to make it easier to candidates, and think about what information you need to make an assessment on a candidate's suitability. Because if you're not clear, then you're going into the interview sort of thinking, not really sure what I'm looking for. Improve the onboarding, and the one that, I mean, we as a human race, actually on balance, I think are not brilliant at communicating. So some of us are good at it, others are brilliant, but in general, there's always room for keep improving the communication. Don't assume anything. To keep the communication channels open. Next slide, please, Megan. So here we're talking about offer incentives and review benefits. Now, this was really interesting because I thought, yes, some of the big companies, they offer the most incredible benefits. And I know we're not in that league, but my jaw did hit the desk again earlier this week when I was checking something out. And if you work for, I think it was either Facebook or one of the other big companies, you can actually get $7,000 worth of benefits in addition to your salary. I know we're not in that league now, but 60% of candidates say that benefits and perks are a major, major part of considering whether or not to accept a job offer. So you can see some of them on there: compressed hours, shorter working week, longer holidays, project-based, not hours-based. We touched on training, career progression. I've put in there healthcare, gym, away days, paying for vocational courses. Has been pointed out, try and give perks that your employees want, not what you think they want. So I was very amused when at a networking event fairly recently, they actually keep a supply of ice cream in their company fridge, because apparently that is a really, the employees absolutely love it, that they know that, I suppose particularly during the summer, they could go and help themselves to a dollop of Loseley Farm ice cream or something. It's a perk. It's one you wouldn't think of. It's a bit quirky. Pet-friendly offices, you know, probably pre-pandemic, people taking their dogs or anything into the office, absolutely a no-no. But these are some of the things that potential employees are looking for. They want, as I mentioned right at the start of the call, a great working environment. They want it clean, they want it tidy. They, you know, even if you're working on a construction site, you need clean facilities. Free food and drink is another one that they like, and I guess if you're in the hospitality industry, that goes without saying. But other businesses where they can offer tuition on courses, you know, even a 6-week sewing course, it's nothing to do with your business, but if it helps your employees' well-being, they're definitely worth considering. So could I have the next slide, please? And again, improve your interview process, create a good impression. Try and move away from these traditional questions that, you know, have been kicking around for a long time, and hopefully are on the way out. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Tell me about a time you overcame a challenge. Really use the interview to get to know that candidate as to whether, you know, they're going to like you, you're going to like them, whether you can build a working partnership. But if you're not confident interviewing, then, you know, use somebody who is and sit in on the interview. To make that, it's your first shot chance at attracting somebody to your business. So it absolutely needs to be a process where the candidate can tell you about themselves, you can tell them about the company in the best possible way, and it shouldn't feel like they're being taken to the gallows, and that you know, it's got to be a mutually beneficial process. And make sure you test the skills that you want. You know, test conversational, technical, writing skills. If you need them to cook, get them cooking. If you need them to engage with the customer, see it happening. And again, I know I keep banging on about it, but show that your company is a great place to work. And absolutely, again, communicate requirements clearly to the candidates so that they can come absolutely prepared to give their best shot at impressing you and you impressing them. Next one, please, Megan. So yes, again, check that whoever takes responsibility for recruiting new members of the company, that they have the skills to implement a good, you know, recruitment process, that they're friendly, approachable, that they know what you're looking for in your department if you're not directly recruiting themselves. And as Gemma said, and I said, if you need guidance on where to go to help with that process, do get in touch. But there are just little places where you sort of think, oh, I've done this for 20 years, I know what I'm doing. But it's always good to have a sense check and think, well, it's not working. Let's just check how we're doing it to get the best outcome. Last slide, please. So this is just a couple of slides. That's really what I wanted to talk about in terms of trying to address some of the problems around recruitment with Gemma's support. There's just a couple of slides here now just to ask any of you on the call, are you able to offer young people work experience? There's an opportunity here, as you can see, it says scan me when we send through the slides, to offer a young person in year 12, so they'll be over 16, they'll be 17 probably. Can you offer them some work experience? Because what we find is that employers constantly say that young people aren't work ready, but they also say, oh, no, we're not prepared to take on a young person for work experience. When you sit at a careers fair like I do, and the students walk down the middle of the aisle and they're too nervous to approach the employers because their world is the world of school and college, not the world of work. We've got to bridge that gap. And one of the best ways, please, could be if you really think about a day, 2 days, 5 days, whatever you can, to introduce young people to the world of work, and you may well be amazed at what they can offer. Next slide, please, Megan. Skills Show. This is happening 8th, 9th of March next year at Stoke Mandeville. 120 businesses will be there. We're still looking for a few exhibitors to come along and be present at it. If you can offer the 2 days, you get a free stand, you get the opportunity to just offer an activity on the day, but you can really showcase your business to the young people of Buckinghamshire who are looking for careers and their first job. So can urge you just to look at the skills show. If you think you can sign up, we'd love to have you. And it's a great event, and we have over 4,000 young people visiting. Next slide. And one thing you may not be aware of that Buckingham Business First does is we offer free training for those with low levels of numeracy, digital or literacy skills. So it is as it says on the slide, and just fill in a form, and one of our advisors will be in touch to help you access those for any of your staff that need it. And the next slide, please. So all I need to say is thank you very, very much for listening. I hope that's been helpful.